You ever seen three cop cars roll up with their lights going just for a guy fishing at dawn? That's how my day started. I was standing out on my favorite rock about to cast my line when those patrol cars came crawling down the gravel road, red and blue lights flickering on the lake, making everything look like a crime scene. And there up on the dock in her $600 athleisure in a blowout that could stop traffic was Denise Hardcourt, the HOA president, screaming into her phone, "There's a dangerous man trespassing on HOA property. You can't make this stuff up." She was so loud I swear the fish started swimming for cover. Anyway, the officers get out. That cop walks slow, deliberate, like they're sizing up a bank robbery, not some guy in a hoodie with a fishing rod. But the second they see my face, everything stops. Radios go silent. One officer, this tall guy with gray hair at his temples, actually whispers, "Holy hell, sir. It really is you." His name's Miles Vance, by the way, and I guess the word "sir" was the first sign this wasn't going to be your usual HOA drama. Let me back up a sec. See, I built a tech empire worth billions, but I did it quietly. I'm the kind of guy who prefers a sunrise on the water to a wine and cheese HOA mixer. So yeah, most of my neighbors have no idea who I am. I own the biggest lakefront property in Pine Hollow Shores, and you bet I treasure that low profile more than the money. Give me an old ball cap and sunglasses, and I'm just another guy dodging work by pretending to catch bass at 6 in the morning. Now Denise, she's the queen of our HOA. 3 years running, never met a rule she didn't love. She's the type who stalks the neighborhood clipboard in hand, hunting for trash cans left out 5 minutes too long. And from the moment she saw me fishing on what she thought was common shoreline, she zeroed in like a hawk on a field mouse. Demanded to see my resident ID like I was about to make off with the community mailbox. I told her real polite I live here. She squinted at me, probably running through every name in her HOA directory. And when she couldn't place me, it was like sounding the alarm for HOA DEFCON 1. That's when the games began. Official warning letters, fancy HOA letterhead taped to my mailbox, accusing me of loitering without authorization and violating quiet hours by fishing before 7 a.m. I guess the splash of a lure is more dangerous than fireworks now. Pretty soon there were reports of a suspicious person lurking near the lake. I'd laugh, except she was literally calling the cops on a guy fishing on his own land. And when the letters didn't scare me off, Denise took it up a notch: binoculars, a notebook for evidence, phone always recording. She told anyone who'd listen that the scruffy guy in faded jeans who never came to HOA potlucks was up to no good. But here's the kicker: Denise never bothered to check the county plat map. For all her talk about rules and control, she missed the one fact that mattered. I don't just own a house here. I own the whole western shore, every inch, including the chunk where the HOA poured their precious community dock without even asking. More than that, I own the lake itself. My grandfather bought it all up 60 years ago, back when Pine Hollow Shores was nothing but scrub brush and wishful thinking. Every bass, every pebble, every weed line, it's mine. That morning, same as always, up at 5:30, coffee in hand, hoodie jeans, just trying to find some peace before the circus started. Mist curling off the water, bass busting shad on the surface. Perfect, right? But there was Denise, perched on the hill with her binoculars, talking a mile a minute into her phone. I caught snatches, armed with fishing gear, refusing to leave, feels threatened. I almost dropped my rod, laughing. She'd called 911. Overfishing. Next thing you know, the cavalry arrives, 3 marked cars, light show and all. The officers fan out, hands near their holsters, and Denise is shrieking about trespassing and vagrancy. Sergeant Patterson, the lead cop, starts down the path toward me, but 10 yards out he stops dead. Stares. You could see the gears turning. He keys his radio and says something low, and then he turns to Denise and asks, "Do you have any idea who you just called 911 on?" She starts blabbing about a vagrant, about months of suspicious activity, her voice wobbling like a kid caught with a hand in the cookie jar. Patterson glances at me, and I just nod, time to let her dig her own grave. Patterson lays it out, name and all. This is Miles Vance. He owns the biggest parcel in Pine Hollow Shores, and he's the largest donor this department's ever had. According to county records, he owns the ground you're standing on. The look on Denise's face. Pure confusion, like she'd just watched her little HOA throne turn to sand. For dramatic effect, I reach into my dry bag and pull out the original 1965 deed survey plat and the lake title, everything signed by my grandfather. The officers gather around, studying the paperwork like it's the Rosetta Stone. It's all there, clear as day. I own the whole western shoreline, the so-called community dock, the water, the works. Patterson's face goes from professional to just plain disgusted. Ma'am, you just made a false 911 report. You've also been harassing Mr. Vance on his own private property, the dock you're standing on. Technically, it's an illegal structure. So who's the trespasser now? You know that feeling when someone's so mad they can't talk? That was Denise, mouth opening and closing. Nothing coming out but air. She tried the old bylaws and covenants routine, but Patterson cut her off cold. Mr. Vance could have you arrested right now for a false report, harassment, and trespassing. These aren't just warnings, these are real charges. Real jail time, real fines. I watched her little HOA kingdom fall apart in real time, the designer leggings, the clipboard, her air of authority, all meaningless now. Patterson asks if I want to press charges. I thought about every warning letter, every binocular stakeout, every phony complaint. But honestly, I wanted something that'd stick longer than a night in the county jail. So I made her a deal, drop everything. If she agreed to 3 things: a formal public apology, read out loud, at the next HOA meeting, her immediate resignation as president, and the HOA has to remove their illegal dock at their own expense within 30 days. She tried to argue, but Patterson reminded her a false 911 call could mean a year in jail and a $5,000 fine plus extra for harassment and trespassing. Mascara running, voice breaking, she finally nodded. One of the officers, bless his heart, actually handed her a clipboard to sign a written admission right there standing on a dock she technically didn't even have the right to use. A cruiser tailed her home to make sure she didn't double back. Patterson State apologized about 4 times, then took my statement. The story blew through Pine Hollow shores faster than a Texas wildfire. By dinner time, everybody knew. That night's emergency board meeting packed. Denise at the podium, voice shaking, reading the apology I'd written. Admitted to harassment, filing a false police report, abusing her office. Then she resigned, walked out to dead silence. Nobody even pretended to clap. The board, panicking, voted to dismantle the dock and sent me their own groveling apology. While they were at it, someone checked the books and wouldn't. Denise had been writing fines nobody approved and skimming the cash. Forensic audit found $42,000 missing. 2 weeks later, the DA's office slapped cuffs on her in the middle of an open house right in front of some poor couple shopping for a 4-bedroom. Local news ate it up. HOA president arrested for embezzlement after botched trespass call. The trial was quick. The evidence was airtight. She was convicted on 3 counts of embezzlement, 2 of fraud, and the cherry on top, filing a false police report. The judge gave her 18 months and $75,000 in restitution and fines. And then I'll never forget the look she gave me as the bailiff clicked on the cuffs, like she was still trying to figure out how all this happened. How a quiet man fishing on his own lake could end up taking down her whole empire. Wild, isn't it? Makes you wonder how many rules are really just power trips waiting to be exposed. So let me ask you, what would you have done? Press charges or offered a way out? And where's the real line between enforcing the rules and just plain bullying your neighbors? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share your own HOA horror stories, and don't forget to hit that subscribe for more tales of suburban justice, because out here you never know who's really holding the deed.